Joining me right now is Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton, a member of the Senate Armed Services, Intelligence, and Judiciary Committees. Senator, great to see you this morning. Thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Maria.
I mean, this wide open border has obviously put national security at risk in this country. And the Supreme Court decision yesterday also is something to discuss, given the fact that that was impacting democracy. Give us your reaction to the SCOTUS decision and the wide open border today.
Well, the border's wide open, Maria, as President Trump said, because Joe Biden wants it to be open. He promised in his campaign in 2020 that he would reverse all of President Trump's highly effective policies that had, in effect, closed our border. That's exactly what he did on day one. We've seen an invasion of our country ever since. 10 million illegal migrants have crossed our border. President Trump is also right that President Biden could close the border. At least he could substantially reduce the flow if he took a few simple steps. For instance, stop the abuse of parole authority. Barack Obama only paroled 5,000 or 6,000 people a year into the country. Joe Biden is approaching 2 million people a year. He could also just send the message to the rest of the world, don't come. If you do come, you won't get in. But he won't do that because his party is ideologically invested in open borders. That's why the American people have soured so badly on Joe Biden while President Trump is running ahead of him in virtually every poll. And the Democrats are resorting to legal warfare to try to keep President Trump off the ballot. Thankfully, the Supreme Court junked that yesterday. I think that you're also going to see President Trump winning most of these bogus cases against him. But it's a sad state of affairs when Joe Biden and the Democrats are so unpopular that they can't try to win at the ballot box. They can simply try to imprison their opponent, which is something that's more fitting for a country like Pakistan or Brazil than our great nation.
Well, this is all very disturbing, obviously, Senator, and I wonder what your thoughts are on what the president is spending his time doing. I mean, you've got a wide open border, as you say, 10 million illegals in this country on Biden's watch. You've got an economy that is teetering potentially on recession later this year. We're seeing a growth slowdown, inflation at 40-year highs. We're still seeing inflation up 18% on Joe Biden's watch. And this morning, he's talking about late fees, and he's talking about corporate America and it's companies' fault that people are facing inflation. Is this all sort of a preamble to the State of the Union on Thursday?
Yeah, I think what you'll see in the State of the Union Thursday night, Maria, is a massive effort to shift blame, because that's what Joe Biden seems to be doing most of the time, blaming other people for his own failures. He wants to blame Republicans for the fact that he opened our border and allowed this 10 million migrant invasion to occur, or to blame Benjamin Netanyahu for being too tough on bloodthirsty terrorists in Gaza, when it's Joe Biden's weakness and appeasement of Iran and its terrorist proxies across the region that caused this war to start in the first place. All Joe Biden seems to be doing lately is blaming others for his own failures. That's why the American people are prepared to repudiate him this fall, because he doesn't have any answers or solutions for them. He only has blame and bitterness for his own failed presidency.
And, you know, we should point out that the 10 million people who are illegally in this country on Joe Biden's watch, the real question and worry there is that some of them, we have no idea what their intentions are. We don't know why they're here. We don't know what their motivation is, given the fact that some are on the terrorist watch list. Others are Chinese nationals who look like military-aged men that Xi Jinping is creating a mini army in America. Border Patrol sources told Fox News' Bill Maloogian that more than 70% of all apprehensions in February are now happening in blue states like Arizona, California, and New Mexico. Nearly 99,000 of the 141,000 apprehensions happened in those three states in February because, of course, Greg Abbott is doing something about it in Texas. Last week, border agents in California stopped a human smuggling attempt of 4 Chinese nationals. Border Chief Jason Owen said that the nationals were not they are not give-ups, meaning they attempted to secretly enter the country. Senator, so your thoughts here, and you know, your colleague Roger Marshall was with me on Sunday, and he said that the CCP is really the senior actor here. It's not even the drug cartels that are running things. It's the CCP that is working with the drug cartels to help the illegals come into America and then create illegal businesses here. He told me that they're starting up massage parlors across the country, and it's a front for human trafficking.
Yeah, Maria, the casual indifference Democrats display to this threat is really remarkable. You often hear Democrats say, like, oh, most of these people are simply women and children fleeing oppression. Only a small, tiny percentage of them might be bad actors, military-age males, for instance. But when you have 10 million illegal migrants crossing your country, even the tiniest percentage can lead to things like the murder of Laken Riley in Georgia, a young woman who would be alive today if it wasn't for Joe Biden's disastrous immigration policies, or the trafficking of women and children into this country for sexual exploitation, the drugs that are killing over 100,000 Americans every single year, or, as you point out, tens of thousands of Chinese nationals about whom we know very little, who could be coming into this country to, say, be undercover illegal agents or to oppress Chinese Americans whose parents or grandparents naturalized here, but who Xi Jinping still claims for his own regime. There are so many people crossing our border who aren't just coming to look for a job or reunify with their families, but who mean harm to the American people.
Yeah, and you know China so well. You've studied the Communist Party and its efforts to undermine America very much. You were the first person to say COVID likely did not come up from a wet market. In fact, it likely originated in that Wuhan lab. So what do you think they're doing? I mean, do you think that these Chinese nationals are here to create chaos or sow chaos when Xi Jinping gives them the directive? Were they directed to come here? Because isn't it true you can't leave communist China without approval?
Yeah, I think there's little question that at least some of them are, Maria. Now, unfortunately, because of Joe Biden's weakness in his appeasement of the Chinese communists, you don't have to cross your border illegally. You can oftentimes just get a student visa if you're the child of a Communist Party member or People's Liberation Army officer. And you can come here and go to our universities and harass Chinese Americans. We're giving out visas freely for Chinese nationals for businesses or to go to embassies and consulates, many of whom are spies for Chinese security services.
That's right.
But there's little question that when you have tens of thousands of Chinese nationals crossing our border, at least some of them are doing that at the direction and under the influence of the government in China, and they mean no good for the American people.
Yeah, I want to switch gears, ask you about the Senate Minority Whip and South Dakota Senator John Thune announcing he is running for Senate Republican leader. I spoke with both Ohio Senator J.D. Vance and Indiana Senator Mike Braun about who will be the next person in charge now that we know Mitch McConnell will not seek re-election in November. Watch this.
You cannot have a Senate Republican leader who is far more obsessed with securing Ukraine's border than he is focused on the American border.
Somebody that reflects that new point of view, can't borrow money from our kids and grandkids, wants to still be involved in leading, but not paying all the bills across the world.
Senator, I think a lot of people would like to see you there. Will you go for the job?
Well, Maria, I want to be in whatever role I can help my fellow senators and President Trump best achieve our shared goals for the American people. Some of my colleagues have approached me about the conference chair job, the number 3 position in leadership. I'm focusing on that position right now. It's open because of term limits for John Barrasso, who's done a good job there. That helps drive our message for the American people. That's exactly what we need to do because, frankly, the most important elections we have is not in the Senate right now. It's the election for President Trump and Republican senators and Senate candidates around the country, because we want to make sure we're electing a Republican majority leader in November, not a minority leader. That's one reason why I'm working so hard for people like Tim Sheehy in Montana or Dave McCormick in Pennsylvania or Sam Brown in Nevada, because those are the elections that matter most right now.
Okay. Senator, I want to ask you about your new legislation, the Rent Act, or requiring EV notification and transparency. You're going after rental car companies, electric vehicle rental policies. Tell us about it.
Well, unfortunately, Maria, there's been a huge bait and switch at the rental car counter for many Americans when they're traveling, say, to go to a wedding or an important business trip or to take their family on vacation. They show up and all that's available for them is an electric vehicle. And they're being forced to take these electric vehicles in places that don't have sufficient chargers, and when they have to travel too far, they don't have the range for it, or in conditions where they're not suitable. I think the American people should always have a choice. This would require rental car companies to give you that choice up front, to not trick you with a bait and switch and give you an electric vehicle. It's also, though, just the tip of the iceberg, because right now Democrats want to force you to rent an electric vehicle, pretty soon they're going to want to force you to buy an electric vehicle, just like, say, Gavin Newsom in California has done. So this is just the first effort to make sure that the American people have the choices that they want. Look, if you want an electric vehicle, that's fine, but you shouldn't get subsidies for it. The government shouldn't be massively subsidizing the production of them with your taxpayer dollars. If you want a gas-powered car, as the vast majority of Americans do, that should be your choice, whether you're renting it or whether you're buying it.
Well, you're right, and I think this administration is trying to cut off that choice. They want to do away with fossil fuels, Senator. But Michael Schellenberger, the reporter, journalist, said that underneath all of the influence peddling of the Biden family that we've been talking about, the charges from the Oversight Committee and the Judiciary Committee, they say underneath all of that was China's efforts to take over and acquire energy assets in America. So let me get this straight. The Biden administration, or Joe Biden and his family, helping China acquire energy assets while cutting them off from Americans? Creating a national security issue?
Maria, China is trying to corner the market on electric vehicles worldwide, from the minerals that are necessary to the manufacturing of these vehicles to the technology that drives them. And then China wants to use those vehicles around the world to exert influence on peoples and governments. Joe Biden and his family should never have been peddling influence for China. They certainly shouldn't be forcing this choice on the American people.
All right, we will leave it there. Senator, good to see you this morning. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Maria.